Hey, what's up, YouTube? Today, this is Fried Vice, and today we're going to be discussing some potential leaks or rumors, and even possibly Sinnoh remakes confirmed. Let's find out. But first, before you go any further, just keep in mind this could be spoilers, this could be leaks. It may not be, but you've been warned. Okay, if you don't want to see this kind of stuff, click away now. All right, here we go. So this is a leak that was showed up on 4chan a few days ago, I believe, and this is saying that we're going to get a trailer for the Isle of Armor coming on June 19th, and that the release date for the Isle of Armor is going to be June 26th. All right, so there's a lot going on here, so let's start up on the top left here. So first thing, who cares? Curry Dex is expanded. We get Zesty Citrus, Wild Rice, Blossom Honey, Robust Chilies, Fish Flakes. All right, whatever. However, now we get into Calyrex, which is the mythical Pokemon, I believe, associated with the Crown Tundra. And this is the Pokemon, it says, it's saying that Calyrex created the bird trio, this new bird trio, as protectors for the Magen tree. And this is not the same as the Kanto trio. So if you have checked out the previous trio for the Isle of Armor, the trailer there, you'll notice that they have what appeared to be Galarian forms of Moltres, Articuno, and Zapdos. But this here is saying, supposedly, that these are not going to be Galarian forms of Articuno, Moltres, and Zapdos, but this is Telequatro, Cinicinco, and Acelasace. And that'd be Psychic, Dark, and Fighting types. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I mean, ideally, yeah, it would be like this. I'm assuming Telequatro is not just pure Psychic type. It'd be Psychic Flying is my guess. Maybe. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it'd be really cool if. I think it'd be cooler if it was just a Galarian Moltres instead of Cinicinco, but whatever, this could be the case. Here it says the Magen tree is poisonous. Fruits produced every 3,000 years, but those fruits grant immortality. So maybe something to do with AZ. We had that 3,000 years. That's something that showed up again lots of times in X and Y. Again, maybe a reference with 3,000 years, possibly Mega Evolutions coming back. Who knows? Who knows there? Tarragon aimed at obtaining fruit. I don't know who Tarragon is. Maybe that is a new character. Could be the antagonist of the Isle of Armor, perhaps, or maybe even the antagonist of the Crown Tundra, right? We don't know. Maybe this trailer also has information about Crown Tundra. Here it says Rose event in each DLC. So Chairman Rose, if you are not aware, he ended up, spoiler again, being the main antagonist of the original game Sword and Shield. So perhaps he shows up again, maybe just as cameos. Who knows what's going on with Rose here? He just disappeared at the end of Sword and Shield. Okay, Isle of Armor. Now this is where we get interesting. Volkner gifts the player Shinx. What would Volkner be doing in the Isle of Armor? Very interesting. Volkner also gifts the player a Blossom Honey for a curry recipe, and he speaks to how different Pokemon in Sinnoh are. So Volkner, if you don't know, is the electric gym leader from the Sinnoh games, Diamond and Pearl and Platinum. So Volkner showing up here could really be hinting at something. I mean, we've seen other trainers show up, and before, like in Sun and Moon, we had Colress show up, I believe. He was from the Black and White games, and obviously we haven't seen a remake for those. But I'm really thinking that Volkner showing up out of the blue here could be our key to seeing those Sinnoh remakes, and it could be their way of teasing something, especially if he's saying how different Pokemon in Sinnoh are. Usually each game has some hint or clue referring to what we might be seeing next, so I think this could be our clue here for the Sinnoh remakes coming next, possibly 2021, maybe 2022. We'll see. Next, Crown Tundra Ambassador NPC Balsam from neighboring region has a new form of Zangoose and Seviper, and he gifts one to the player. Okay, so here, this is Crown Tundra information. So perhaps this trailer, again, is for both the Crown Tundra and the Isle of Armor. And it says here Zangoose is going to be a fighting type, Seviper is going to be a dark type. Very cool, I think. All right, so the ambassador then speaks to long trading history with Galar, mentions that he wants to see Caparaja while in Galar as they are different. Okay, interesting. So Caparaja in Galar maybe as the base form, but Copperajah elsewhere is different. So we might at some point see a new Copperajah form, which would be really, really cool. He also gives robust chilies for the curry recipe. Who cares, right? Chili, curry, whatever. Curries. Some people care about the curry, but I don't care about curry. All right, Reggie's Myth. This is cool. Expanded through the rune stone carvings like the ones found in Turffield. Very interesting. Plus, we get the Regivolt electric type, super cool, and Regivern dragon type. I would have loved to see a third one, maybe that wasn't hinted at yet. I really like the idea that the Reggies are a trio. Pokemon loves to have their trios, and it would be kind of weird to just add 2 more onto the trio. It might be cool to have a second trio. I don't know what they would add to Electric and Dragon. I guess in my head something else along that lines, because the original Reggie trio, we had Ice, Rock, and Steel. Those are all like solid objects. Like you can punch it, you can walk into it. It's solid, it's physical. And Electric and Dragon are more this like weird mythical elemental, so maybe a fairy, or I don't think we'd see fire, water, or grass as one of those 3, as those are our main 3 types for the starters. But again, maybe something like, man, I don't know, ground, although that's also like a physical thing. So the only other thing I could think of here is like maybe fairy. So that would be interesting. The player can capture both, although it's at different points in the game. Very cool. Galarian Slowpoke and evolutions of new Galarian forms to be introduced. We already know about Galarian Slowpoke. We know that it's going to be Galarian Slowbro and Slowking. We don't know quite what they are yet. Here it's saying Galarian Slowbro is going to be a Psychic and Ghost type with Corsola shells. The Galarian Corsola, the Ghost type, native to the Galar region, is going to be on each of his arms. I think that would be really cool to have a physical, probably Slowbro, as we'll find out later. Perhaps there's going to be a new move associated with that. I think that would be really cool. Psychic and Ghost, we've seen that before. Lunala, Psychic and Ghost type. Very, very, very weak to Dark type, but very strong typing. It's probably still going to have a low speed stat, but it'd be cool to see a physical type, or physical-based Pokemon. Next up, we have Galarian Slowking, a Psychic and Poison type. This time, Mareanie is the crown instead of Shelter being the crown. So again, this is where the Poison type comes in. But both of them, interestingly enough, lose their Water typing, even though both Slowpoke, Corsola, and Mareanie all also share the Water typing. So it's like they've lost all Water typing due to these evolutions. Next up, the Galarian Phanpy line with a new regional evolution. The Dex entry explains result from cohabitating with Copperajah. That would be really cool. And it says here that the Galarian Phanpy is fighting type. I could see that. I could easily see that. And we get Ruffiant, a fighting and steel type. Both of these Pokemon, Copperajah and originally Donphan and Phanpy, are all related to elephants in some way. So I think this would be really cool. A fighting steel type, Ruffiant. We have this Lucario typing here, Cobalion typing. Very, very sweet. All right, next up, Galarian Tentacool line based on a ghost jellyfish. Galarian Tentacool is an ice type. I mean, it says Tentacool in the name. It's almost like it's just been waiting to happen for forever here. And then Tentagool. I love that name, Tentagool. And it is iced ghost type, the same typing as the Snorunt evolution. Not Glalie, Frostlass. Sorry about that. Forgetting for a moment. So same typing as Frostlass there. I mean, Tentacruel is a very defensive, bulky Pokemon. So Tentagool, an ice ghost type, that could be very interesting. Very, very interesting here. Next up, we have Galarian Mankey line based on Japanese macaws. These are like those monkeys you may have seen videos of. They chill up in the snowy parts of Japan, and they just like to chill out in the onsen, or the natural hot springs up there. Very cool. I like that concept. So we have Galarian Mankey fighting an ice type. That's where that ice typing comes in, because they're hanging out in that cold environment. And Primalanche. So Primeape and Avalanche there combining together, seeing a fighting an ice type. Very cool. Very, very cool. All right, next up, Galarian Snubbull line based on pit bulls. These are quadruped, meaning they're on all fours. So instead of standing up on their hind legs, we have Galarian Snubbull, the ground type, and Galarian Granbull, the ground type. I think that's cool. I mean, that kind of makes sense. Ground types are cool. Next up, Eternus Eternamax form is released. This thing was crazy battling it in game, and honestly, I am very afraid as to what that looks like if you could fight and have your own Eternamax form, Eternatus. That just seems a little broken. We'll find out more about that as time goes on, though. Let's take a look here. New Gigantamax forms released in July and August. Aside from the Urshifu, Kanto, and Galarian starters, so we know that Blastoise and Venusaur are getting their Gigantamax forms, as well as the 3 Galarian starters, Cinderace. We have what are the other 2? I'm forgetting right now. Rillaboom and the sniper one. Whatever. I'm forgetting at the moment. That's just because we're recording. Next up, and then obviously Urshifu's going to have Gigantamax forms. We already knew about that. Okay, Rotom gets a Gigantamax form. Very interesting. Another Pokemon related to Generation 4. I mean, we haven't seen a lot of Gen 4 stuff here except for that stuff with Volkner, which is very interesting, which is why I'm thinking they might be teasing something. But Rotom resembles a Tesla coil in its Gigantamax form. I don't know if all the forms can achieve this. Maybe it's just going to be tied to only regular Rotom, but the Tesla coil is very cool. If you don't know, that is an object that is used to generate static electricity and setting out an electric field. Okay, next up, Luxray, Manticore themed. Okay, again, related to Volkner, he gives you a Shinx. Maybe the Shinx that he gives you can Gigantamax into this Luxray. It's Manticore themed. A Manticore, I believe, is a mythical beast combining a lion, sometimes a scorpion tail, and maybe even goat portions there. But usually those 2 forms of that lion and the scorpion tail. Sometimes it has more than one head as well. Graveloct becomes a punching bag motif. Be pretty cool, I guess. I mean, Graveloct is a new Pokemon added in the Galar region, Gen 8 Pokemon. Stonejourner, a stacked Stonehenge look. I mean, that makes sense. Stonejourner just seems like the kind of Pokemon they would have given a Gigantamax form to. I really like Stonejourner's design. I think it's so cool how fast it is, even though it doesn't look like it would be. So I think that would be very interesting there. Talonflame, Scrambler Jet themed. Okay, very interesting. So we're getting a Scrambler Jet themed Talonflame. That's like a fighter jet, airplane themed Talonflame, Gigantamax form. Palossand, Taj Mahal theme motif. So this is a famous temple or a palace in, I think, India there. Palossand, very cool. Pyukumuku and Pincurchin share a Gigantamax form. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. I don't know how I think about this. These are 2 Pokemon that are very different, but have very, very similar qualities, and they share a Gigantamax form. Okay. We've seen things like Flapple and Appleton sharing Gigantamax forms, so it might happen, but those 2 also evolved from the same Pokemon, Applin. So seeing that these 2 might share a Gigantamax form sort of raises some questions about the validity of this here. Okay, treasure map side quest, Crabloon, a new Pokemon maybe obtainable after completion, or is this an item, Crabloon? So we're not sure, but probably a crab type Pokemon, maybe associated with the doubloon idea of a coin, often associated with treasure and pirates. Although it has that loon sound, so maybe it's balloon related as well. Who knows? Zarude, we already know about. It's the new mythical Pokemon coming out. Will be Mystery Gift exclusive after completing the Tower of Two-Fist story, which I believe is the story associated with the Isle of Armor and Urshifu and Kubfu. Next mythical is a Shakespeare-themed Cuervosio. I don't know about that. I don't know my Shakespeare very well, but that might be a reference to one of the Shakespeare plays. I'm not sure. The digging duo Sisters instead of the brothers can be found in both DLCs, and they will dig up certain fossils from previous gens. So this is, I guess, confirming that the old fossils are coming back, and who knows, maybe we can combine some of those fossils Galarian style and get some really outlandish, crazy new fossil Pokemon. That would be cool. All Generation 1 obtainable, including the regional forms, can be traded over from home. So all of the Generation 1 Pokemon will be obtainable in the new games. I mean, I guess it makes sense. They love to cater to that Gen 1. I'd just be happy to see getting things like Alakazam back. I love that Pokemon. And yeah, so next up we have a further 217 added across both DLCs. I'm assuming this is including what it's saying above all Generation 1 Pokemon. It's not, I'm probably guessing it's not in addition to all the Generation 1, another 217, but who knows? That could possibly be even more, but probably just that 217 added across both DLCs. I'm guessing this is including the new Pokemon, but maybe it's saying further 217 as in with the new Pokemon, and then in addition, all the 217 old Pokemon coming back across both DLCs. We'll see. That would be really cool. It would up the number of Pokemon in the dex to well over 600. I'd love to see that. The legendary beasts, that's Raikou, Entei, and Suicune, will freely roam open world, a callback to their Generation 2 appearance. If you didn't know, in Generation 2, you'd literally just run around and happen to find them in the grass, and they were always moving around, and it was actually kind of difficult to catch up to them. You sort of had to time it out and get to the right location. So you might have some troubles actually finding them. They might move around really fast. Who knows where they're going to be in the open world, but that's a really cool idea. Eusine, he is from Crystal version. If you don't know him, he was always following Suicune. It says he'll make a minor appearance as he tracked the beast to Galar. That makes sense. Kurt's granddaughter, Maisie, and her Galarian Slowpoke may be visited for Apricorn Balls. We know, hopefully, we're going to be getting another way of getting the Apricorn Balls instead of just the ones that you're only limited to in the original Sword and Shield. So this is really cool. I believe Kurt's granddaughter was in the original game. It would make sense. Nintendo loves to do stuff like this. Even with the new Animal Crossing, you see Daisy May instead of Sao Jones for the turnip stuff. This return to form, but also taking in those younger, newer characters and throwing them in. So that's a very, very large possibility there. We might see Kurt's granddaughter instead with her Galarian Slowpoke. And Slowpoke is always related to Kurt, as you found him in the well there. So new moves added. These are really interesting. I was going to make a video on it completely separately for new moves, my analysis of these new moves. So really, I'm going to completely separate this video from that video. I'm going to have a completely separate video for new moves that have been added. This is a rumor video, but those new moves have been confirmed through a Pokemon Home leak, I believe through the mobile app of Pokemon Home. So those are probably confirmed, though the actual leak only had the names of the moves. This is saying that they're adding in types and what the moves actually do and if they're physical or special. So some of the things in here I'm not sure if I completely agree with, and I think these moves here, what I thought about them is completely different from what this rumor is saying. So either that's just going to be disappointing for me, or that's saying that this whole rumor is disproved. We're not sure. But please, 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 if you like this kind of stuff, subscribe, like the video, comment down below what you think about this whole leaks and rumor stuff, and keep an eye out. Make sure you subscribe because I will be posting another video tomorrow related to these new moves and what I think. And we're going to be diving into what this rest of this rumor here says. So keep an eye out for that. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe. Bye.